Hello everyone, Hector Mendoza. This is the lesson for Friday morning at 8:47 a.m. at MileHigh to Justin. Um, we've already done over all of this, but this is just like a little homework assignment. So basically what we did this morning is I sent everybody an email. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. So okay, before we go into the email, the first thing you want to do is make sure that in the folder that I've already showed y'all how to organize, you would right click, you would create a new folder, and you would name this, for instance, Friday mile. We already got one, but I'm going to show you again. Mile HIGH, mile high, and then we just put morning drawing. I'm going to put number 2 because I've already done this once. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do is have a folder ready. Okay, so now we go into the email. So I sent each and every one of y'all this email. So so I go into that email. You're going to see my drawing. You're going to right click. You're going to save target as. Okay, so we're going to the other folder because I've already done this once, but now we're taking it to a different folder. I'll open up the MileHigh drawing number 2. I'm going to save it there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and close my email. One thing you don't want to do is have a lot of windows open, and especially like right now, since I'm recording, I gotta have the least amount of windows open. So I'm going to launch Xactimate. While this is opening, remember we already have some files in here. We're going to use one of the files that we used previously so that we don't have to enter a lot of this data. So we're going to get the file that we used yesterday morning. Okay, so open up Xactimate. You're going to go either into your control panel or you're going to go to your projects panel. Either way, you can open this up since it's already been created once. Okay, so I'm going to delete the one that we did. Not, y'all don't do this. I'm deleting something. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to that file we used yesterday. It's called John Insured. You're going to right click. You're going to duplicate. And I explained already what all this means. No, I had a piece of paper. No, that's okay. So we're going to call this, we'll just name this Friday, and then we're going to call it MileHigh. And then we're just going to call it MileHigh morning drawing. You can name it anything you want. Just remember where you're putting it. So you can hit OK. So right here, there's the file. We're gonna double click on it. Now we don't have to worry about deleting from the old file. That way you can play with that project at a later time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have two layers. I'm going to right click. I'm going to delete that layer. On this layer here, I'm going to select everything. I lassoed everything. I'm deleting it. I'm going to go ahead and right click here on the layer. You see on the bottom left hand corner, I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to call it main. Not put main layer, nothing, just main. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I'm on sketch, not tools, but options. Then, see right here where it says import, you're going to hit import. You're going to import underlay image. Okay. You're going to navigate to where you put that drawing. So I went to a different folder. It's no big deal. It's the same drawing, but I can double click or I can click on it and hit open. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I want this to be as big as I can. So I'm going to click here and don't touch anything, guys, because if you start clicking, then it's going to be, you're going to have to start all over. So navigate to this area here. Use your mouse key to enlarge it just a hair. You see where I have my mouse? Put it up there. Now you're going to left click here. You're going to left click here to, you see where I'm putting it? Right at the beginning of that line and at the end of that line, and I'm going to type 32 feet 5 inches, and I got that from this measurement right here. I'm going to hit OK, and then nothing's going to happen until you click right here on the bottom right hand corner. You hit OK. Now what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to hit Control S so that it saves everything. Okay, we're not worrying about accuracy, we're just worrying about techniques. And if you don't name it, don't worry about it. Okay, I don't care about none of that. We're worrying about copying, and we're worrying about techniques. Okay, so I'm gonna use my mouse to this corner, then I'm gonna use my my wheel. I'm going to go forward to enlarge this area so that I can enlarge this area. Now that it's in the vicinity that I want, I'm going to hit my space bar. You see how it turns into a hand? That means I can move my canvas. Okay? Now, I'm going to hit my R, or you can use your tool. You know, you can go down here and click on room. It's the same thing and hit an R. Now, don't worry about what you see loaded. I'm going to get right in the middle of that wall right here. I'm going to click. I'm going to drag down to the center of those two walls, the vertical and the horizontal wall. I'm going to release. I'm going to double click, and it's going to show the properties. I'm going to type bath. Now I'm going to delete the room. I just type bath and hit enter. Okay. Now I click in this wall. I'm going to hold my control key. I'm going to click on this white square. Okay. I'm going to move over to that in between those lines, right? Now I can move it a little bit. Remember, you don't have to be as accurate as me. We're just learning how to do this. I'm going to double click and I'm going to type closet. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter. Now the next area is on the top, right? So I'm gonna hit here. I better not do too many commands because this might throw people off. So I'm gonna hit my space bar. I'm gonna go, and you see the screen is too big. All I'm gonna do is get my mouse and just inch it just a little bit with my wheel. I'm enlarging and reducing, right? And I'm also hitting the space bar to move things around because this is the next thing I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to click here. Remember, I want to duplicate this to create this. And by doing that, I'm going to hold the control key. I'm going to click on my square. I'm going to go to the center of that wall. Okay, I'm going to release. I can always go and see how close I got to that wall, which is pretty close, right? And then I just, with my wheel, I go up and down. You don't have to do that, guys. I'm just showing you some little tricks. I can click on this square on the right wall. I can click right here. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do, you see this wall right here? You need to look at this because this is what we're going to do. Now, so when I hit my brake tool, I want to make sure that this is as big as I can see, right? So, but I want to keep this in the screen too. So look, I'm going to put my my pointer here, and I'm with my arrow, with my wheel, I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. See? Now, I can hit my V for vertex because we want to do an angle. So I'm going to hit my V for vertex, and you see that's the vertex tool right there. I want in the center of this wall and the center of that wall. I want to try to get as close as I can, right? Look at my mouse. So that pointed thing is right in the center of all of those. I'm going to click. Now I'm going to move over to this diamond. I'm going to click on it, hold my left click, and go up and down. Don't click and go this way. Don't click and go this way. I need for you to click and just go down here. So watch this. And it's going to snap twice. Look, I'm moving down. You see how it snapped? I'll keep on going down. Look, you see how it snapped? It gave me a perfect 45-degree angle. Okay, now I'm going to go down. This is a bedroom, so I'm double clicking here. bedroom. Remember, we're not worrying about names, so you don't have to necessarily put this if you don't want. Now, the next thing we're going to do is do the dining room. There's a lot of ways we could tackle this. I would probably do it different if I was doing it myself, but I want to make it as easy as possible for you. I'm going to click on this vertical wall. I'm going to hold my control key because I want to duplicate the bedroom. So you see, I'm just going to stretch it out just a little bit because if you go too far, then it's kind of hard to handle this thing. So go about that far, release it. Click in the middle of the room. This diamond, you're going to snap it twice. 1, 2. Then you're going to get this wall. You're going to click and drag. No control key, just click and drag. So what I'm going to do is kind of enlarge it a little bit to see how close I am. Remember, we're not worrying about accuracy. I just showing you some tricks. I'm going to hit my space bar. Okay, now, 2 ways of doing this. Look, I can click here and do this. The easiest way is to click on this one. I'm going to hold my control key because I'm creating this living room. Don't worry about what all this is going to go this way and then it's going to go way down here. Don't worry about that. I'm going to move this over and then I'm going to bring my mouse down here. Look, so I'm going to hold my control key. I'm moving up, moving up, moving up, because this is the wall that I am concentrating on. I want to take it up that far. Okay, I'm going to click inside this wall. I'm going to click here and snap there. So guys, you know, all you got to do is pause the video and forward, pause and go forward. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do, you see, this is the next thing I want to create, this vertical line. So I want to keep this and this as close as I can. So I'll move my mouse here. I'm going to use my wheel on my mouse to enlarge, okay, so that when I put a vertex here, I can see most of my walls. I mean, you know, I can get close to it. So the next thing I'm going to do, hit V for vertex, because remember, this is a 45-degree angle. To do that, you need a vertex. So I get in between. I'm looking at this wall here. I'm looking at this wall here, and I'm looking at this wall. So in the center of everything, I'm going to click, release my mouse. I'm going to click this guy right here, and I'm going to snap twice. One, that's 22 degrees. That's 22.5 degrees. You click again, that's 45 degrees. Now, I'm going to reduce. I'm going to double click here and type living for living room. I just type living room. Okay. I'm going to deselect. I'm going to hold my space bar so that it gives me that hand, right? I can move this up. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to create is all of this. I'm not worrying about this. I'm not worrying about this. All I'm worrying about is this big old room here. And it's automatically going to contour itself all the way around here to here. First, I need to click on this vertical wall, hold my control key because I'm about to create a new room. I'm going to move to the right, pretty close to that area, right? Then I'm going to release. I'm going to click in the middle of the room. You see this wall right here? I'm going to enlarge this area so that I can get as close as I can. You see, I didn't get all out of hand or nothing like that. I'm just inching it a little bit, and I'm navigating based on where my mouse is. This is not, I'm not making another room, so I'm not going to hold my control key. All I'm going to do is click here. I'm going to go up in my, till I get right to the center of that stud wall right there. You see how it automatically contoured all the way around. Now, I'm going to call this the kitchen. You don't have to do this. I'm just, all this exercise, I keep on saying it over and over. Y'all probably get tired of me, but this is just an exercise for vertexes and break tools and things of the nature. Now, I want to enlarge this area because this is the next big room I'm going to create. So I want to get in the center of it. Now, I see, I don't want this getting out of hand, so I'm going to put my mouse down here so that it goes down. Okay, now, hit my space bar. That allows me to move. Anytime I hit the space bar, it gives you that hand. That means you can move this thing around. I'm going to click on this vertical wall till I get that white box. Those are called handle, guys. I don't call it handles because there's boxes and there's diamonds. And I used to call people vertical, I used to call them those handles, and they would click here. So from now on, I've always made a habit of saying that white box, not that vertical box, diamond box, that white box is called a handle, but I don't like to call it that while I'm teaching. Okay, I'm going to hold my control key to create a big old room here. So I'm going to click and drag all, and don't worry about what's happening on the right hand side. You're going to just go to that wall right there. See, it lined everything up here, right? I'm going to hit my space bar, and I'm just going to move this over till I can see this part here. I'm going to hit my the center of the room. You see that diamond? That means I can change from a 45-degree angle to 22.2 to 45. Okay, now you see it's kind of off. That's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. It's off just a hair here. Because if you start messing with this, you got a bunch of little things here that's gonna just I wouldn't mess with it, but that's okay. It worked for me. Okay, now I'm gonna hit my space bar. Okay, my space bar. I'm gonna move this over because I got a bunch of rooms here. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna hold my shift control key. I'm gonna click on this vertical wall, click on the white box, and I'm gonna duplicate. I'm gonna create a room. Okay, and this one here, I'll call it bedroom. Okay, this one down here, I'm not gonna name because as I start duplicating, I'm gonna have to rename it. Right now, all I'm gonna do, see, there's two rooms here. I can kill two birds at once. I'm holding my control key, and I'm gonna go up, and boom. Right now, while I'm here, I can just click here, hold my control key, and create that room. Now, so this is, I don't know why I call it room 9. Room 9, okay? This one here looks like a W. Yeah, W. So double click, just type W if you're naming this stuff. If you're not, leave it alone. Okay, hit my space bar. Okay, now, a lot of ways of tackling this. The easiest one would be to make your break tool. Click here. Okay. Now I'm going to hold my control key. I'm going to create this room with this box here. So I'll hit my control key. I'm going to click and drag right to that little corner, to that wall, excuse me, vertical wall. I'm going to enlarge this area. So I'll put my pointer here so I can enlarge it a little bit. Now I'm going to hit my vertex. I'm going to click right here. I'm imagining a line going this way and here. So in the center of this one and this one here is about right there. See, I'm not clicking out here. I'm not clicking out here. I'm clicking in the center of the wall. I'm going to click. Now I have a vertex diamond here. I'm going to snap it 2 times. 22.5 degrees, 45 degrees. Now you see it's off a little bit. No big deal. Click here. You can just move it just a hair. Boom. Okay. Now with my my wheel, I'm going to click here and just reduce this a little bit. Now there's a million ways of doing this. You can go this way to create a room, but from here on out, what I want you to use is the wall tool. If you hit the Shift W, which is that tool right here to the left, it's going to load this thing here. So now from here on out, we're going to, this is basically cheating, but I want you also to learn this tool. So we're going to click here, click here. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfect, right? So hit L. Now, I don't want y'all to get a habit of just using that tool because I want you to learn all those other tools. Okay, now we're just going in. Look, we got a room right here, right? So I'm going to enlarge this area. Shift W for a tool. I'm going to click in the middle of the both walls, this vertical wall and this wall. I'm going to click. Now I'm going to get in between this wall and this wall. So this is about in the center of it. I'm going to click. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Right in the center of the wall. Click and click. If it's off a little bit, you don't have to do this, what I'm doing here. Just leave it alone. Your space bar. Now we got another room here. So I'm going to hit my Shift W. I'm going to click right here. Click right in between those both walls, and then click right here. Hit my space bar. I could reduce it a little bit. Hit my Shift W. I'm going to click here, get in between both walls, and then click here. Okay, now I'm going to hit the space bar. Now, here's what we consider pony walls. I'm going to hit my Shift W for wall. I'm going to click, and I'm going to click there. Now, you see how you can keep on going? Don't click on nothing. All I want you to do is hit the escape button on the left hand side of your keyboard. You hit the escape button. Okay? Now hit the space bar. I got a little tiny little room here, right? Shift W. I click in the middle of this wall, in the middle of the vertical wall. Click. You see right there? I'm splitting those two walls. Click. And then I'm clicking right in the middle of that wall to create that room. That room is called C. It might be CL. It doesn't matter. We just put CL for cluster. Well, you know, it's just exercise. Now, all we got is this room here. So if I hover around here with my mouse and I use my wheel, I can enlarge it. I can hit my Shift W. I'm going to click here, and click here. I'm going to hit Shift minus. That's all your rooms. Now, to make sure that you drew all your rooms, you can hit Shift O, and you can see your background a little bit. So if there was one of those rooms missing, you'd be able to tell because you would see it. For instance, let me delete this guy right here. So you see, you would see something like that. Okay, guys, that's what we learned this morning. By the time you're finished with this class, this will be easy for you. And some of this stuff is you're probably almost getting into your level 2 certification drawings. And this is your third day. What is our third day? This is your third day. If you can do this, I don't care if you're doing it with my instructions or without my instructions. If you can do that, you're kicking butt. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm going to email this to every single one of y'all if y'all are bored and y'all want to practice this. Thank you for watching this video, guys.